We're going to do some practice with percentages in this video, just in case we need a little bit of refresher. So the formula that is very helpful to remember is if I want to calculate a percentage, I'm taking a part of the group, dividing it by the whole number of individuals that I have to choose from, and then multiplying it by 100. If I don't multiply by 100, then it's in its percentage form, which is sometimes helpful, but we're going to go ahead and practice working with percentages here. So I have within this table a study performed, I think back in the 70s here, where we have a number of male files and a number of female files, and we gave them to different managers and asked them whether or not they were going to recommend them for promotion. So part A asks, what is the percentage of males in this sample? What is the percentage of females? So if I want to talk about the percent of males right here, I'm going to look at the total number of males. So for my males group, the total number of males is 24. So 24 out of a total of 48. And then if I want to take that, convert it to its decimal form, I'm going to go ahead and multiply it by 100. So I should end up with exactly 50% here because it's split down the middle as 50-50. If I wanted to look at the percent of females, I would do the same thing, except now I'm going to look at the total number of females, which in this case is 24. So I would take, once again, 24 out of 48, multiply that by 100, and once again I end up with 50%. So 50% of my sample is composed of males, 50% of my sample is composed of females. Moving on then, part B says what percentage of our sample was promoted right here. So I want to find the percent promoted here. So I need to know what the total number of promoted individuals was. So I'm now looking at this column right here. I'm going to say, okay, how many individuals did I have promoted? Well, in total, there were 35 of those individuals divided by my overall total that I have within my sample, which is 48. And I'll go ahead and multiply that by 100. So 35 divided by 48 gives me 72.92%. I'm going to go ahead and round to 2 decimal places on these answers. Cool. Moving on then to part C. Part C says what percentage of males were promoted. Now this part is a little bit tricky. This says of males. So what that means is I'm not considering the total number of individuals here. I want to know the percentage of males that were promoted. What that means for me is I'm only going to be looking at the males row right here. So for me, in this particular part of the problem, the males are the only group that I'm considering. They're the only ones that I care about in order to answer this question. So I would say, first of all, how many total males did we have? We had 24. It's different than 48. So we had 24 total males. So out of the 24 total males, how many were promoted? So I can scroll back up and say, well, out of those 24 individuals, 21 of them were promoted. So 21 out of 24 times 100. I'm actually going to do this problem just a little bit differently just to show how I can convert this to a decimal. So let's say I didn't multiply it by 100. I would get the decimal form of a percentage, which is 0.875 in this scenario. A lot of times we kind of prefer to use the decimal form of the percentage, as we'll see in a few examples in future videos. But if I wanted to, you could still multiply it by 100 in this case, or you could just simply take this decimal and slide it to the right by 2 spots. So you would be saying in this case 87.5%, or if you wanted to add on that 0, 87.50%. So if you have the decimal, it's easy to convert from the decimal to the percentage just by sliding that decimal one way or the other. We'll look at the last example down here, part D. It says what percentage of females were not promoted. So again, I'm not going to be dividing by my overall total. I'm only looking at the females in order to answer this question. What is the total number of females that are in this particular study? So I'm going to go up and I'm going to say, so of females, we're looking at this row right here, and the total number of females that I have within this table is 24. So out of the 24 total females that we have, how many were not promoted? So how many were not promoted? There were 10 of those individuals. So 10 divided by 24, if I wanted to give the decimal version again, this would be 0.4167, or if I wanted to slide that decimal again to the right by 2 spots, that would be 41.67%. So I would encourage you, if you feel like you need a little bit more practice, to reach out, and I'm happy to provide you with some extra practice problems. But working with percentages is going to be a big part of what we do in this class. So it's something that I want to make sure that we're comfortable with at the beginning before we get into any of the skills that require this.